3 out there.
Okay, 7.
7.
7 total.
Yep. You might get to the S.
Which one?
The top. Definitely the top.
We're live? It's
No.
red.
Oh, it is red.
Good to go.
We're good?
Yeah, and the
Okay.
audio's recording on here, so
Okay, perfect.
send it.
Sweet.
We got a producer.
We do. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Coaching Over Coffee. I don't even know why I'm holding this because I didn't use it.
Just a prop.
So this morning you have myself, Coach Casey, all the way to my left. We have Coach Ryan, and then our 2 guests for today. We have Nicole and Matt Abrams. So we want to give them a warm welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There we go.
So the topic for today is keeping it in the household. So we're just going to talk a little bit about how these guys make time for themselves, what it's like to go through this process with each other, and just also the influences that it has on their kids. So I think to start, maybe a little backstory as far as like you getting started and then you dragged him into this mess. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, so I did the challenge with Kayla in October, I think it was. Wow, it was already October. And so I kind of did that by myself. It was the first time coming back to a gym in 3+ years.
Where was the delay?
COVID,
Yeah.
young kids, time, really.
Yeah.
It was, and I was doing a good job working out at home. We had stuff in the basement, and then I wasn't doing a good job. And
Yeah.
so I needed something, and Kayla knew it, and so she's been trying for like 3 years to get me to come. And so I finally did it, and then the new year hit, and then the challenge came out, and we needed a group of 4, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a little tough. And then I looked at him, and I was like,
Did you see how she just looked at him there, though?
we got to figure this out. So we did. We just said,
How did you guys rope spouses in? So, like, Kayla got Josh, you got Matt. What was that
I
dialogue
texted
like?
Kayla, and I was like, are we going to do the next challenge? There needs to be 4 of us. You think Josh is in? Because I knew Josh had gotten out of it because of his back surgery. And I was like, Matt's in. And
Did Matt get asked?
he did.
Matt did get asked.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And we talked about it before. I said if there was a challenge,
Okay.
I would jump in the mix and
Yeah.
because I saw Nicole strive through it and was really successful at it, and I was like, this is something that I definitely subscribe to. It's just the time. The
Sure,
time
sure.
is what's critical, right? So
Sure.
we convinced the kids to say, listen. Stay in bed. Don't worry about it. We're gonna go, have a good time here. So,
This is not a parenting show.
It's actually my favorite part.
Has fitness always been like a fundamental staple in your household? Because I know kids are really active. I know you said you guys were active.
Yeah, I mean, consistent fitness between us, probably not.
Why do you feel that is? Because we hear that in a lot of parents.
I think you just get so roped into work and then kids' activities, and you kind of forget about yourself for a while. And then there comes a time where you're like, all right, I gotta start thinking about myself again and do things for myself.
What was that time? I always ask, what's that why? What's that like light switch for both of you? Because you both have individual reasons.
yeah. So mine, I have a very stressful job. And we've talked about it. I said I need that outlet. We were doing a workout program at home for a while with
Sure.
COVID, bouncing around, but it's just not consistent. And for our process, the kids have come first because we got to make sure they're fed, they're going to bed, they're doing their normal
Yeah.
routines. And then with the challenge that came up, I was like, what, this is a good time. This is it. This is a good. Let's just jump into it for myself.
Yeah.
I'm motivated just naturally. I just like to go. So waking up in the morning, adding that into the routine has been great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was kind of my light switch was, let's just do it. This
Yeah.
is a good reason. It's challenging yourself to be committed to do it. So let's just do it.
Yeah. What about you, Nicole?
I don't know if there was
light
like this.
switch.
Yeah, I think when Kayla asked me to do the challenge, I realized that I had really gotten out of it. I had gotten into really good shape at home, and then I saw myself coming out of really good shape, and I didn't like it. And it not for the way I looked, but more of the way I felt.
Yeah.
I was tired all the time. I didn't feel. I'm much happier when I work out.
You can
And I
attest.
realized that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. yeah. So.
What did somebody say here? I think it was Rosley said, if anybody asks from the gym asks you to do anything, say no.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. Because it's like either something crazy, some race,
True.
some challenge, something nuts.
I'll talk to him about that later.
Yeah. Casey Lou.
Okay. How do you guys think, and I think this is a general question, not even just in regards to your family, but what influence do you think it will have on your kids? Not even just you guys coming here, but they're here with you. So they see you. Sometimes they're right in the mix. I mean, Addie did a whole 60-minute workout a couple weeks ago with the rest of the adults. So just talk a little bit about that.
I think it's good for them to see us actually committing to something. I mean, Addie's on a gymnastics team, Jaden's on a soccer team, so they have commitments. But to see their parents do it too, I think that's huge. We were really committed for 6 full weeks, and they knew it. They knew they were waking up with us Saturday morning and coming to the gym, and I think it goes to show that it's not just them having to commit to practices and things like that. That mom and dad are doing it too. Oh, this is. I think it's good to show them that, it's everybody. It's the family.
And they're we're making a commitment. It's not, we have a commitment to ourselves to work, right? This is a commitment to do something better for ourselves, and the kids get to be involved with it, right? At different stages, if it's waking up early in the morning, jumping in, doing the workouts with us, or watching us do the work, we're committed. We've made that choice to be committed.
How does that make you guys feel watching your kids do that?
I mean,
Watching them support you, watching them hop into workouts, like, because you do have kids that don't do that kind of stuff, that aren't as active. How does that make you guys feel when you guys see that, knowing that they're on the path to the same thing?
Successful.
As a parent,
As
or
a
like
parent,
proud?
proud, and parenting is hard. Anybody that's done it knows you have your ups and downs, and there's times you feel like you didn't do a lot of things right, and then to have them want to be here with us and not give us a hard time, and then jump in the workouts. And Addie asks, I think probably every other day, when are we going back to the gym for a workout? So she likes to be here, and I mean, she loves you guys too.
What's the best part of the last 6 weeks for you both individually? So if you could recap, because we'll talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, right? But what do you guys think the best thing that you guys learned or achieved in the last 6 weeks? Matt, you go first. Ooh, put you in the spot.
So,
hang on, pause.
Yeah.
That's like sip number 3 or 2 over there. We have a bet on how many sips of coffee Casey's
Almost
gonna have
to the
today.
first S.
Yeah. All right, Matt, I just gave you a little extra time. You're welcome.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Ryan. So, for me personally, or just in general?
You personally, because you can't speak on everybody
Well,
else.
that's true. So, is the dedication I put into it, just to make sure that I was following through, was trying to stick with that regiment, right? Introduced a new routine, and I'm all about routines. I'm about efficiencies. So adding that into my daily drive has been probably the biggest contributor to that.
Yeah.
Just being able to add that into the mix. That starts my day off, right? If I don't do that, like if I miss a day, I feel I get in a funk a little bit sometimes. So I think that has been the biggest, reward out of it.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
My turn.
Yeah, you're next.
I mean, besides the weight loss, I think that was huge. That was a hard thing, something I struggled with. I was working out, and the weight just wasn't coming off. So that was a big accomplishment to finally get there. And then the commitment to do it for a full 6 weeks. The last challenge was 4 weeks, so it wasn't quite as long. The last challenge didn't have that nutrition plan in it, so this one was definitely a lot more of a challenge. But we did it for the full 6 weeks. We did it 95% of the way,
95.5.
Efficiencies.
Yeah. So knowing that we can do it, and we did it together.
And now follow it up. What was because it's not rainbows and butterflies. What are some of the hard topics that most people won't talk about? You got to have a bunch of
for
things.
the challenge, or just?
I think the process itself. I mean, you think about hey, having to get up, having to introduce a new routine, implementing a new food, program.
Yeah.
Hey, workouts You talk about when you first started, your first day. I'll never forget it. It was like you and Steve Johnson back to back. And I'm like, oh God, what are we gonna do now?
Stressful.
Yeah, right. Go lay down over there, and then 2 seconds later, he's getting back up. And I'm like, no, stay down, stay down.
So, it's interesting you bring that up because that was one of my struggle points working out at home was we couldn't figure that out. I would get lightheaded and be like, wow, this is crazy. What's going on? And it would happen either in the mornings or in the afternoons, and then I just couldn't shake it. So I kind of gave up a little bit. I was like, this is crazy. I can't, and I can't, right? That's something I usually don't say.
Sure.
So working with the team here, right? You guys coaching us through it and just pushing into it, but easing in, not going 90 miles a minute, So it's just taking the step back. Going,
Our sound is gone, I heard. I just got a text from Kayla.
Uh-oh.
Our secondary
listening
producer.
True.
It's showing good, and it's still picking up on the words.
Okay.
Right?
So we'll say Kayla is full of shit.
Kayla, turn your volume up.
Yeah, turn your volume up, Kayla. Yeah. So, pacing yourself, I think, is a big thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But I think, what that is, too, is, I think we go in comparison mode, like, hey, what do we used to do when we were 20,
Right.
25, 30, 40?
I got another text. I can't hear you
Yeah.
from my mother.
Oh.
We're good?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
There's like an echo in the room. What was that?
Oh, it's his, yeah.
Oh, my mom said I can hear you.
Okay, good.
All right, great.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Nicole, what do you think one of the biggest challenges or hurdles or roadblocks for you was?
I think the food prep. That was because I did a lot of it.
You got it.
Dirty
Yep.
look over
That
there.
was, I know.
Yeah, hairy
She was a
eyeball.
champ at it. She did
Because
great.
if you didn't do it, it didn't happen.
Sure.
You didn't follow the plan. So it was constant of what do I have to do for tomorrow? What do I have to do for the week?
Yep.
And I think that was the hardest thing of just actually doing it. Sometimes I just like to wing it, and you can't wing it.
Was it worth it?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
And then that's the big thing that I try to take away from it all is you have to be in control,
Yeah.
right? If you're not in control, then Subway is there, and that's not
Yeah.
going to get you where you need to be. There is Little Caesars or something like that. That's quick. And
Yeah.
when was the last time anybody ate Little Caesars? If there is one around here,
I'd be pissed if somebody brought me Little Caesars for pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth the pizza.
Bougie.
Maybe.
Go ahead. You ask a question now.
I was going to ask in regards to nutrition. I think it was you, and we had a conversation. I asked you how it was going during the challenge, and you were like, oh, random trips to the grocery store happening often when you realize oh shit, I need this and I don't have it. And I know you're not the only person that felt that way.
Yeah.
So what is that experience like? How often did that happen?
Every 2 days. Every 2 days.
'Cause
It
we
was
do hear that a
pickles,
lot.
Turkey and raspberries.
Yeah, that's what it
the
was.
staple.
Raspberries,
It
she
is.
said.
It
I
was like-
remember.
Yeah, we ate a lot of fruit. And then it was funny because the kids were like, oh, I want the raspberries. I was like, those are for tomorrow. It's like, but yes, please eat the raspberries. I'll just
Did
stop at
they
the
do
store.
it with you guys? Are they eating the same things as you?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, but they don't in general because they're not.
Is that more difficult to be around other
Well,
things
it
that-
wasn't. I wasn't feeding them stuff that we really wanted, and they, I think the sugar was the biggest thing for us, completely cutting that out.
Was hard for you, or
It was hard, but it needed to be done.
sure?
Yeah, like the
And we did
Reese's that are
cut-
sitting on the table. You're like, that looks good. But
Yeah.
you can't have that.
Right
Yeah.
before bed, I'm just gonna brush my teeth and then have a Reese's.
Exactly.
I've done it.
And I don't like going to the grocery store, but it was a lot of trips to the grocery store. We saved a lot of money not eating out.
Can you say that again?
I don't like going to the grocery
The
store.
other part.
We saved a lot of money not eating out.
Think about that. Nobody talks about that as the fact of a financial it's an investment into yourself, but it's a long-term investment, and you realize how much money you do spend
Yeah.
when you guys go out and especially a family of 4.
Yeah.
And it's not saying you can't do that and live life and you have to shelter and be a hermit, but like think about over the course of a year how much money you save by just preparing your own meals.
Yeah.
Why do you smile?
Yeah.
Because you've done the Excel spreadsheet.
Because I'm the one that usually breaks that. I'm like, all right, hey, let's go grab lunch. Or,
Sure.
Hey, let's go grab dinner. It's easier.
Yeah.
It's just.
But it's also a social thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And we like to eat well. We like to eat certain things. The nice part about the challenge, though, is we're controlling what we put in
Sure.
our bodies, right? Going out to eat is great. You know what you're getting, but you don't necessarily know how it's prepped.
Sure.
And if,
What's going
they're
in it.
cooking that in butter or
Yep.
not, right? So we control that, and I think that helps to the success of the balancing. You're working out, but you're also controlling what you're eating and how you're eating.
Yeah.
Right? So.
How did you guys motivate and inspire each other? Obviously, there's days where you didn't want to go or vice versa, maybe. But what was the dialogue like? How did that build your relationship? Because I know I sparked this conversation the other day.
That alarm, right? The alarm goes off, and you roll over, and you're like, you ready?
It's time to go.
Ready to do this?
Isn't that nice, though? Because I think, like, if you had just a normal buddy, sometimes there's a text that comes off at, like, 4:45. Are you going today?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be
Like-
mad if we did.
Yeah, right? But how is that, like, internally in the household where, you're going to motivate and inspire him or vice versa?
Yeah. We knew it wasn't an option. We were going.
Yeah.
you know?
Wow.
Made it happen. Like what was it? The first or second? No, it was the second or third day. Something came up, and the kids were like, they weren't feeling well. I think it was. And Nicole's like, I can't
yes.
go. I was like, we'll figure it out. So she went in the morning, and then I went in the afternoon. I was like,
Yep.
we'll make it work. But for the most part, we buddied up and said we're doing it. We're gonna go at the 5 a.m.s and.
But you guys have work, and you guys have kids that are involved in extracurricular activities, and you have, full-time occupations and social lives.
Yeah.
How did you make it work?
It's one of those things.
You
We
just
just
did it.
do it. We're
There's no secret sauce to
There's
any of
no.
this shit. You just have to do it.
You just have to
Yeah.
commit to it. That's
Yeah.
it. I mean, it's life, right?
Yeah.
It's the choices you make. So we made a choice to commit. We're doing it, and we make a choice every day to keep doing what we do. We've worked through the challenge, but we've also said, all right, the challenge is over. We kind of celebrated a little bit. It was Addie's birthday, my mom's birthday, so we went out to pharmacy. We hit up another restaurant. We hit up another restaurant, and then we're like, okay, you know what? That was great, but I feel like shit.
Yeah.
So
We got to hone it
back
back
at
Back
in.
on the
Back at
wagon.
it. Let's do it.
Is that a
So-
healthy addiction? Is that a healthy obsession? Is that a healthy way to live life? So yes.
Yes.
That is my answer.
Yeah, I mean, you can't completely restrict yourself your entire life because then you're going to feel like you're doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But when you realize that you feel so much better controlling what you're eating and eating healthier, then it gives you a positive reason to restrict it in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're still going to go out to eat every once in a while and, not follow the plan 100% all the time because it's not an easy plan to follow. The plan is worth it,
Yeah.
but it's not easy. It's hard work.
It is.
But we now know we have something that works that we can always fall back,
on.
into.
Yeah.
And,
I do have families that if they go on vacation, they will budget, like a 6-week gap to say like, hey, we're going to drop 15 pounds in 6 weeks. Here's how we're going to do it. And we've already know how to do it.
we
So
know
I
how to do
think,
it. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
At any point in your lifetime, did you guys ever fear the gym? Not this gym in particular, just in general. It'll lead me into my other question.
All right, so I'll jump into the mix.
Okay.
So I didn't fear, necessarily the gym. What my concern was, and it was a goal I had, was form. I didn't want to get into a workout and then actually strain something, and be like, I can't do this because I physically have the limitations. I wanted to make sure when I jump into it, I want to be trained, right? You guys coach us through, hey, fix that squat, tighten the shoulders back, whatever those corrections were, so you don't hit. So
you know what? We pause for a second. I'm glad that you mentioned that because it's something that we pride ourselves on, and we give each other so much shit. Being like, hey, his knees were over his toes. Like, we'll send texts across the room.
Well, never mind. I won't elaborate.
I mean, it's so true though. Like, and Clark is great, but he'll be he reminds me of a gopher, right? He'll think that you're making eye contact with you, and he'll do one of these. Like, he'll look up to be like,
What am I missing?
what am I doing wrong? But I'm glad that you do that because we do make sure that we try to catch everything, and we pride ourselves on individual attention even in a group setting. So thanks for that.
No.
Thanks for that plug, by the way. We're not cheerleaders.
Keep going.
So
Rant.
but that was the reason, that
Okay.
I would limit myself maybe going to the gym because I was like, listen, I don't want to. We did a boxing program at home, and I threw a punch, and I was like, what the hell?
Very
So,
technical, actually.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I want that to happen because I want it. The commitment. The commitment's there.
Yep.
I'm here to support myself, but I'm also here to support my wife and
Long
everyone else
term.
that does the
Yeah.
challenge
Yeah.
too, right? I mean, it's a huge community, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for establishing.
What's it
that,
like
you know what I mean?
walking into that? Sometimes it's intimidating.
Yeah, it is. And, walking into a new place, right, for myself, I know Nicole was here, rocking it out, but I'm walking into a totally different setting, different people, and, it is, everyone's here to do the same thing, right, be successful at what we're doing, so.
Did you have any fears?
I think my biggest fear was I'm a competitive person, so not being able to do everything that everybody else was doing, when I first came, and then I just had to swallow my pride and figure out that it was okay.
You kicked my ass a couple times.
So, I'm not 24 anymore.
Thanks for that.
But it wasn't like that. It's not like that at all here. Everybody's motivating. We're all at different levels, which I think is great. And we all do it differently, but we all
Do it.
Yeah.
We do it.
we do it.
Something that I always think about when I see younger kids in here, especially your two, is that, and you might have thought about it, you might not have, but just by you guys being here and them watching you, you're already cultivating a healthy relationship for them in a gym, because I know I have a lot of friends that will not step foot into a gym at 24, 25, 26 years old because they're deathly terrified. And I was exposed to it super young. And part of that is sports and part of it is not, because I did more than just sports when I was a kid. But my mom has been a fitness instructor since the time I was born. So I was like 3 years old, waking up with my mom she would teach Pilates, and I would sit on a mat next to her at the YMCA at 5 o'clock in the morning as like a small child. So it was just always a part of my life. So I never had to grow up with like a fear of, well, I don't know what to do, or there's people staring at me. And so I don't know, I enjoy seeing that for your kids because they're going to grow up and have that healthy relationship with fitness. So
Yeah. No, actually, my mom worked at the Nautilus. I don't
Okay.
know Nautilus. And we were in our baby carriers in the front, thing of that she would put us in there. So we grew up at in a gym setting too. So it never really scared me. It's just,
Peel back that onion layer a little bit. Like, why are people fearful of it?
yeah.
I think a lot of reasons. But
just give me a couple.
I can understand why it would be intimidating. I mean, I came in, I just said to you the other day, like my first 3 leg days, and I consider myself to be in shape. My first 3 leg days, I would go to bed with am I going to throw up tomorrow? Not to scare anybody away, but
Do I have to push?
I think I was held to like a little bit of a higher standard because I worked here. So it was like, you can't come to class and slack, first
Right.
of all. So of course you get pushed a little bit harder, but
Hang on. You get pushed a little bit harder, but you allow yourself to push because you can push somebody and they can retract.
yeah.
You can motivate and inspire, but if they're not motivated, inspired, and committed, then it's nothing.
It's not going to go anywhere.
So I think
Yeah.
that's a characteristic that you have, or like that most people have in some capacity. You said it, like everybody is like coming in here, it's like a fraternity, sorority, community.
Yeah.
But in the same spectrum, I always say this to these guys, is like, where do you go on a day-to-day basis where everybody's trying to be better? You go out to the restaurant, you go out to the bar, you go to your work. Not everybody there is trying to be a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
Not just saying that because it's our industry, but I think that's a cool thing that if you can surround yourself with people that just want to be better
Yeah.
than they were yesterday, like what is it? You surround yourself with your 5 closest friends. If they're not bringing you up, you get a new circle.
Yeah.
A little Cage quote.
Yeah.
But I think people are so intimidated.
Yeah.
And then we say like it's comparison mode, what I used to be able to do, or
Yep.
hey, I'm not as fit as her, but how do you guys get over that? Let's talk about that really quick.
So that's an interesting question, right? So part of the challenge was reading books or audio books, right? So that's one of those things where you're in your head. You got to get out of your head, right? We live through ourselves. We live out into this world. You got to get out of your head. That's what I think that limits a lot of people.
Yeah.
I struggled with it, overthinking things, going, listen, it's not that hard. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just commit to it and do it. So, and maybe that's where a lot of it stems from.
That part of the challenge we were really kind of like iffy about, because we didn't know if people would grab a hold of it. And like the dialogue that we had internally about which books to offer and make sure that you guys are reading.
Yep.
So The Alchemist and all right. So Green Lights, that was great.
What did you think of The Alchemist?
I enjoyed it. It's a good kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that if you put the effort in, it'll come to you. It just may come in a different manner.
Yep.
Right? So you may not understand it right at first. So,
Yeah. What book did you read?
I read Winning and Green Lights.
What did you think of Winning?
Winning. I have mixed reviews on Winning. I think I know, Dan, I'm sorry. You love it. The first few chapters, it was great.
Rah rah.
Yeah. And then it was a lot of just rah throughout it.
Yeah.
I get the idea of it, and how to take the big picture of it. The author, I think, was a lot of rah-rahing himself throughout it. But, it was basically, if you want something, there's going to be sacrifices, and just you have to make those sacrifices, and those sacrifices are going to be worth it if that's truly what your goal is and what you want.
Yeah, I think that's the big takeaway that I always looked at it.
Yeah.
And obviously being a jock, you gravitate towards like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade. But like if you want to be the best at your job, what actions are you taking each and every day to be better than the guy next to you? Or even if it's parenting, like, hey, how did you become a better parent today?
That's harder than being better
Better
at the
your
gym every day.
Well, there's those the short-term sacrifices for long-term goals, right? So, we have, we talked through it where, I have a passion for real estate, so we dabble in that, but that's where sometimes we have to balance it. Hey, I have to go to the buildings and knock something out. It's just that's what we have to do to make sure we can do things maybe later on down the road. We balance that out. If I'm like, Nicole, hey, we got to go hang sheetrock. And she's like, oh, really? You want me to go hang sheetrock? Yeah, maybe today we got to go hang some sheetrock. I even wrote my parents. I came up for a week, and my brother came in, my dad came in. We hung sheetrock. We hung cabinets. It's that balancing act, but I don't try to do it as a Lone Ranger. I say, come on, let's go. I try to get the kids exposed to it because it just gives them the opportunity to say, hey, this is how hard mom and dad work. It gives them the exposure, right? What they decide to do with it is they're going to say, hey, listen, I don't want to paint walls for a living.
Sure.
I want to go do something totally different. It just gives them different exposures.
Where were you exposed to that? So where does that fundamental characteristic come from?
So as a kid, I was the kid that was outside running around building tree forts, playing with Tonka trucks, in the dirt. Right, that was me.
Yeah.
So
He wasn't a jock.
I was not. No. But that's who I started as, right? And then just as growing up, I had the opportunity to do custom home framing, doing renovations with my uncle, and then I dove into the construction and architectural side of it through a career, right? So it was at a younger age where I got that exposure to it, and I love it. I enjoy it. I mean, it's just something that...
Do you think you'd be who you are if you weren't exposed to it?
I think I would have the same type of motivation. I would just apply it to something
different.
else. Yeah. It's just that there's that innate ability. I'm motivated. I just want to keep... I never sit still,
Should ask Ryan to hang sheetrock with you.
There we go. All right.
Only got one hammer.
So
I am the least handiest person ever, right? Like putting the
if you're
floors
hanging
down.
sheetrock with a hammer, I can understand that.
I have zero tools. I think some of them were given to me as a gift. Like you're supposed to use
Hoping
this.
you
You're
would
supposed-
use them.
You're supposed to have this at your house. Like putting the floors down in that new yoga room. Yeah, I'm just like, I'm the gopher. Go get that. You need coffee? Sure, I got it. What else do you need? You need transition strips? Okay, good. What's that?
What's that? Yeah.
Send me a picture. And then I'm the guy at Lowe's that like everybody hates. I'm in the paint section looking for nails. You know, I know a little bit about it, but not much. Yeah, and I don't have patience. Like I knew that I was exposed to it younger. Like my dad would try to teach me that shit, and you know, I was not interested. Like, go give me a ball, I'll go shoot in the wintertime. You know, that was me. You know, so we have about 10 minutes.
Okay.
I want to finish with one question, but it's a very deep question, and it kind of stemmed from what you said. Do you think, and Nicole, you go first because Matt was just talking. I actually asked Casey too. I want your guys' opinion. Do you guys think people love you for who you are or for what you do?
Oof.
That is deep.
I think
I'm not
there are
good at deep questions.
few that really actually love you for who you are. I think the majority of people love you for what you do. That's my opinion.
Why? And everybody's got a different opinion on it.
I think that for a lot of people, it's like what you can bring to the table for them. So almost in like a selfish aspect.
Nicole?
I think at this point in my life, I'm around a lot of people that love me for who I am. As you get older, you have kids, your circle gets smaller, and your circle is those people that love you for who you are and not for what you do. So, but I see that, Casey's point too, it's the interesting mix. But you guys, I think, are in a industry too, where it's for they love you for what you can bring for them.
Sure, but I think we all, like, regardless of our job too, like we all have this like transactional relationship in some capacity.
It is a deep question.
Yeah, I know. You actually provoked it out of me. I forgot what you said.
Something. I said a lot of things.
Yeah. You've had a lot of substance today, thanks.
He thought I was going to do most of the talking.
So, yeah, I mean, I echo, honestly, I echo what Nicole said. Basically, our network of friends and family, has shrunk over time, and I think it's those relationships that we've created that really foster who we are as well as who they are, right, with us. Yeah, that's all I got.
Are you judged for your accomplishments? Are you judged because you have a good job? Are you judged because you have kids? Like, are you characterized by this is my identity because I do all of these things? Everybody.
So it's interesting, right? So I don't necessarily think like that. I bring myself to the table.
Sure.
Right? I bring my family to the table. We are who we are. If you like it, great. If you don't, it's not my problem.
Sure.
So, but we enjoy life, right? So I try to bring, and I know Nicole tries to bring, and try to instill with the kids to just be happy, enjoy it. You got one shot at this, so have fun with it. If you're worried about what other people think, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You
easier
can't.
said than done.
It is. It's a lot easier. I mean, it's easier to say that, but then it goes back to the point that I said, get out of your head.
Yeah.
That's where you overthink too much. You're analyzing it too much. Just don't. Just live. Just what we've been put on this earth to do is live and enjoy life.
One shot.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are constantly judging people. That's an innate human behavior, unfortunately, good, bad. But I think the things we do in life puts us in the circles that we have. We met Josh and Kayla, which are great friends of ours now, through our kids. So without the kids, we probably wouldn't have met them, wouldn't have crossed paths. But it's just one of those things where if people are judging you in a negative way, then they're not in your circle anymore, and you just have to put that noise behind you and not listen to it. And I don't know.
It's deep for 6:50
It is.
in the morning.
I don't do it deep very well.
We're used to it.
Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. I got one question. Ready? So the couple that's sitting on the couch right now watching this, guy might be sleeping, wife might be on the couch watching it, or vice versa. What advice do you give that couple? that wants to make a positive change, just know the direction. You know, they see it in their kids. Kids might be overweight or not as active, might have behavioral things. Like, where do you guys think they need to go, or what steps they need to take just to start, or what advice would you give them?
It's the small steps, right? It's the small steps. Just do that nudge. Hey, go for a walk. Hey, let's go just try to slowly introduce a new routine. Just something small, right? It's those little small steps that you adjust or add into the mix that helps make bigger waves, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and even if it's not jumping into a 6-week challenge, it's, you know, hey, let's try and get 10,000 steps a day between all of us. You know, when we were going for, you know, getting our steps in, the kids went on every walk with us. You know, just doing something small like that.
Would you have done that though if you weren't trying to get steps?
walk with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would that have been like something in your brain that you guys were like, hey, let's go do this today? Even though it's freeze now, let's go do it. Even though mommy and daddy are on a 6-week challenge and we're trying to cut everybody's throat off. We're not competitive or anything like that, right?
No,
Yeah.
not at all. I mean, there's certain aspects of it that
Sure.
we would have done, yes. Would we have walked loser laps, as we call them, around the mall? Probably not.
Loser laps.
But, you know,
Plug
we
from the
did.
kids, you know. Yeah.
They learned something. That just made the show right there.
You know, we had to get them in. But, and every time we leave now, they're like, oh, do we have to do a walk? Like, around the mall?
Oh my God, traumatized.
The good stroller and the
Right.
Pilates sitting, and the kids are always going to remember the loser laps.
Loser laps.
Well, close the showcase.
Oh,
You did a gr-
Did you see the
Couple more sips.
I didn't
Come
make
on.
it to
Couple
the
more
end, so
sips.
I'm almost there. I'm not going to chug it because you don't want to see that. On that
We don't
note,
wanna
thank
hear
you
it.
guys for joining us. Our open house is today. We're going to have free group training from 7:30 to 8:30, and then another class from 8:30 to 9:30. We have free cycling. It's going to be first come, first serve. So first 13 that get to the bike are into the class, also 7:30 and 8:30. And then we're going to have other vendors here from 8 to 10 a.m. So feel free to stop by if you're here. Farmers market's out there. So hopefully we'll get some new faces in here.
We'll
but
do some raffles today.
Yes.
We'll give away some free training for people too. What else? Everything is free. Everything's
it's March
free.
2nd.
Everything's free 99.
So for the month of March, we actually haven't put this out there yet, but every Saturday, if you bring a friend to class, your friend can train that Saturday for free, and we will give you 5 free training sessions to follow.
Read the fine print on the bottom of it, though.
Yeah, more content on
More
that to come.
details to follow.
Yes.
Can't just bring your like grandma who's
Can't bring your
she
dog.
can't do anything, but she came today. She's
Check.
on the oxygen
Yeah,
over
right.
there. Grandma came. Give me my
Where's my
sessions.
5 passes,
Give my
baby?
sessions. Grandpa's with her.
All right, I've been waiting to do
Yeah,
this.
let's do it.
Ready? I don't think. Do you do this at the end or just the beginning? Scene.
Is it a take?
Cut.
Cut.
Yeah, great job with that.